You're ungrateful. Get out and never come back. That's what my wife screamed in my face as she slammed the door shut behind me. I walked out that night with nothing but the clothes on my back, and she thought I'd crawl back on my knees. But weeks later, it wasn't her I heard from. It was her mother, asking why I suddenly stopped paying their mortgage. My reply? It shut her down so fast. The silence was sweeter than any apology I could have ever gotten. If you've ever dreamed of giving someone exactly what they deserve after they underestimated you, then you're going to love this story. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive into one of the most satisfying revenge stories you'll hear today. I met Clara in one of those moments you don't expect to change your life. I was at a friend's party, half tired from work, just trying to make small talk over a plate of cold appetizers. Then she walked in. High heels clicking against the floor, hair shining under the dim lights, and this kind of confidence that made the whole room pivot in her direction. Clara wasn't just noticed, she was felt. And somehow, she noticed me. I wasn't the flashy type. No fancy watch, no smooth pickup lines, just me. Quiet, steady, grounded. She told me later that was what she liked, that I wasn't like the spoiled guys she usually dated. "You're real," she said once, tracing her perfectly manicured nails across my calloused hands. "Not like the others." Back then, I believed her. I thought she admired my work ethic, the way I built my life with my own 2 hands. And in the beginning, she did. I worked long hours, but I made time for her. I saved up for weekend trips, surprised her with dinners, even helped her pay off a chunk of lingering credit card debt when she broke down crying over the stress of it. She hugged me, whispered, "I don't deserve you." But I see it now, that was the turning point. Gratitude eventually morphed into expectation. What was once thank you slowly twisted into you should. You should think about getting a nicer car. You should upgrade us to a better neighborhood. You should handle the mortgage. It looks bad if my friends know I don't pay for my own house. And me. I gave in. Every single time. Not because I was weak, but because I loved her. Because deep down, I thought, if I just keep giving, maybe she'll finally see I'm enough. But Clara didn't see enough. She saw a man she could mold into her personal provider. And little by little, I stopped being a partner in my own marriage. I became the ATM machine with a wedding ring. It all came crashing down on a Wednesday night. I just pulled a 12-hour shift, back aching, hands raw, eyes burning, but instead of heading straight home, I swung by Clara's favorite restaurant. I thought maybe bringing her takeout would make her smile, maybe remind her that even when I was exhausted, I still put her first. I walked in, bags in hand, shoes heavy with fatigue. She was curled on the couch, phone in one hand, glass of wine in the other. Not a glance in my direction. "Finally," she muttered, rolling her eyes like I'd kept her waiting all day. I bit my tongue. Set the food down. The smell of garlic pasta filled the room, but she didn't move, just kept scrolling Instagram, thumb flicking across the screen like I wasn't even there. "Here," I said gently, sliding the plate toward her. That's when she looked up. And the look in her eyes wasn't gratitude, it was venom. "You know what your problem is," she snapped. "You act like working all day and paying bills makes you some kind of hero. Newsflash, it's what you're supposed to do." Her words sliced through me, sharper than any knife. My chest tightened, my throat burned, and before I could even process the sting, she screamed, loud, piercing, final. "You're ungrateful. Get out. Get out and never come back." The sound echoed in my ears as the door slammed shut behind me. And just like that, I was standing on the sidewalk. Alone. Carrying nothing but exhaustion, humiliation, and a bag of cold pasta. I didn't go back. I didn't knock. I didn't beg. I walked until my legs ached, until the city lights blurred in my tired eyes, and finally ended up in a run-down motel off the highway. $30 a night, peeling wallpaper, the faint smell of mildew clinging to the curtains. It wasn't home, but at least it was quiet. I lay there staring at the ceiling, the hum of the old air conditioner filling the silence. My mind kept replaying her words, "You're ungrateful. Get out." Over and over, like a cruel recording I couldn't shut off. Ungrateful. Me. The man who paid for her car, her house, her dinners, her designer handbags. The man who worked himself raw just to make sure she never wanted for anything. At first, I thought about calling her. Maybe apologizing, though I wasn't even sure for what. For working too hard? For not being the kind of man who handed her money without question. But then something inside me shifted. For the first time in years, I let myself sit with the truth. Clara didn't love me. She loved what I provided. The second she thought she didn't need me, she tossed me out like trash. Only she hadn't thought it through. The car she flaunted, the mortgage she bragged about, the rich lifestyle she posted online to impress her friends, all of it was in my name. All of it existed because of me. And if she truly wanted me gone, then she was about to learn what gone really meant. The first few days after she kicked me out, I didn't hear a word from Clara. No texts, no calls, nothing. And honestly, I expected it. In her mind, this was just another power move. She thought I'd crawl back, begging for forgiveness, promising to do better like some whipped dog. But instead of silence breaking with her apology, I heard about her through others. Mutual friends told me she was out almost every night, dinners, shopping trips, wine tastings, posting selfies with captions like, "Finally free," or "Living my best life." I'd scroll past those pictures, staring at the fake smile plastered on her face. Designer bags I'd paid for on her arm, cocktails in her hand, friends cheering her on. To the outside world, it looked like Clara had upgraded from stressed-out housewife to glamorous single queen. And maybe for a while, she believed it. But here's the thing about appearances, they only last as long as the money does. I knew exactly when the first cracks would appear, because the mortgage payment was due in less than 3 weeks. The bills, they weren't going to pay themselves. The car note, still in my name, but I'd already cancelled the automatic withdrawals. And while she was busy playing independent, reality was waiting to pounce. Sure enough, whispers started trickling back. Clara was snapping at her friends, cancelling brunches, posting fewer photos. And when she did post, the smile didn't quite reach her eyes anymore. Then came the phone call I'd been waiting for. Not from Clara. From her mother. Her voice was sharp, almost frantic. "Why did you stop paying for Clara's mortgage? She can't keep up with it." And in that moment, I felt something I hadn't felt in months: control. The call came late in the evening. I was sitting in my motel room, the glow of the TV flickering against the faded wallpaper when my phone lit up with an unfamiliar number. I almost ignored it, until I saw the last name pop up. Clara's mother. I answered, keeping my voice calm. "Hello." Her tone was sharp, accusatory, dripping with the same entitlement her daughter had perfected. "Why did you stop paying for Clara's mortgage?" "She just told me the bank called. She can't cover it, she's panicking." For a moment, I said nothing. I let the silence stretch, just enough for her to feel it. Then I asked, slowly, "I'm sorry, why exactly is this my responsibility?" She scoffed like I'd just said the dumbest thing imaginable. "You're her husband. That's your role. You're supposed to provide for her. Clara told me you left, walked out on her, so the least you could do is keep paying the bills until she gets back on her feet." My jaw tightened, but I kept my voice steady. "With all due respect, Clara didn't tell you the full story. She didn't ask me to leave. She screamed in my face, told me I was ungrateful, and ordered me out of the house. And I did exactly what she wanted." There was a pause on the line. Her mother's breathing grew heavier, like she didn't know how to respond. "So you're just going to abandon her?" she snapped, raising her voice. "Do you have any idea how humiliating this is for her? For us? People will talk." That was the moment I realized, this wasn't about Clara's well-being. It was about appearances. About status. Just like always. And finally, I smiled. "No," I said firmly. "I'm not abandoning her. I'm respecting her wishes. She wanted me gone, so I'm gone. That includes my money." The silence that followed was sweeter than any apology I could have dreamed of. After that call with her mother, I thought the message would sink in. But entitlement doesn't die easy. 2 days later, my phone rang again. This time, it was Clara herself. Her voice wasn't the shrill, commanding tone I'd last heard when she threw me out. No. This time, she sounded brittle, panicked. Why aren't you paying the mortgage?" she blurted, skipping past even a hello. I leaned back on the creaky motel chair, almost amused at how fast the mask had slipped. "I thought you didn't want me around, Clara," I said calmly. "That included my money." Her breath hitched, sharp and shallow. "You can't just, this isn't, do you know what this looks like? People will think I'm broke." There it was. Not I'm scared. Not I'm sorry. Just what will people think? I let her spiral, each frantic word digging her own grave. Then, when the silence stretched, I said evenly, "You screamed for me to get out. You told me never to come back. I listened. Isn't that what you wanted?" She tried to recover, her voice sharpening again. "Don't twist this. You're my husband, you're supposed to support me. What kind of man abandons his wife like this?" I almost laughed. Now I was her husband again. Now she wanted to play the role of the poor abandoned woman. But I didn't laugh. I wanted her to hear the ice in my voice. The kind of man who finally realized he was only loved for his wallet. You wanted independence, Clara. Congratulations. You've got it. Silence. The kind that told me the words landed exactly where they needed to. Then the line went dead. She hung up. But that was fine. Because for the first time in years, I didn't feel powerless. I felt free. And I knew this story wasn't ending with me crawling back, it was ending with her learning the exact cost of her arrogance. The beauty of revenge is that sometimes, you don't have to lift a finger. You just stop holding someone up, and watch them collapse under the weight of their own choices. Weeks after Clara's meltdown, word started spreading. She wasn't posting flashy photos anymore. No brunch outings, no designer bags. Instead, whispers floated around, late mortgage notices, creditors calling, her car repossessed right in front of the neighbors. And then, the final blow, the house. The very house she bragged about owning, the one she'd told all her friends was hers. Foreclosure. I'll never forget the day I drove by out of curiosity. Boxes sat stacked on the lawn, her mother standing there red-faced, arguing with the movers. And Clara. She was slumped on the porch, mascara-streaked, phone in her hand as if she was still waiting for someone to swoop in and fix it all. She looked up and saw me. For a second, her face lit with relief, like maybe I was coming back to save her. But when I didn't stop the car, when I didn't even roll the window down, just gave her a slow, knowing nod before driving away, that's when it hit her. I wasn't coming back. Not with love. Not with money. Not with anything. Later, her mother tried once more, left a voicemail, her voice dripping with forced politeness, begging me to reconsider for Clara's sake. I saved that message. Not because I ever planned to respond, but because hearing the desperation in the same voice that once demanded, once expected, was the sweetest reminder that I had finally taken back my power. In the end, I didn't ruin Clara. I simply gave her exactly what she asked for. Independence. And she couldn't survive it. Sometimes, revenge isn't about screaming, fighting, or dramatic confrontations. Sometimes, the most powerful move you can make is silence, walking away and letting the world show someone exactly what they're worth without you. For years, I thought love meant sacrifice. That if I worked harder, gave more, bent further, I could make someone happy. But the truth is, when you give everything to someone who only sees you as a resource, there's no bottom to that well. They'll take until you're dry, and then they'll resent you for not being enough. Clara's downfall wasn't something I engineered. I didn't sabotage her. I didn't seek to humiliate her. All I did was stop protecting her from the reality she'd been shielded from her entire life. And when reality hit, it hit hard. The lesson. Walking away isn't weakness. Sometimes, it's the bravest and smartest thing you can do. Because the moment you stop feeding someone's entitlement, they starve on their own. And me. I found peace in knowing I finally chose myself. That I didn't crawl back. That I proved to her, and to myself, that my worth was never tied to her approval. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe for more satisfying revenge stories. And tell me in the comments, have you ever walked away from someone who thought you'd never leave? I'd love to hear your story.